Good evening. It is I, Tommathan, and I am here to talk about the Vancouver Titans Season 5 and review it overall. They had a lackluster season from start to finish, finishing 11th in NA with a 5-19 record, a minus 33 map differential, and 6 points because they did make one tournament in the Summer Showdown, but they immediately lost, quite tragically. However, I did get a picture, but I did not find Deepay there. I was looking for Deepay the entire time. I could not locate him. It was tough. It was tough out here. Anyway, the roster to end the season was Aspire and King on damage, and Mirror was playing tank, but technically a damage player. He did have a 4-minute Dragon Blade build on Circuit Royale, and that's what I remember him for on damage this season. Mostly for the Doomfist, though, I would say. They did have Psycho and Shockwave on this roster originally with Aspire, but they were parted with because of probably money in the case of Shockwave when they picked up King, but I don't know. Then for the tank line, you have Mirror and False. False being the primary tank at the beginning, but Mirror would take that role. Kind of. They kind of split, I guess, a bit in the end, but it was tough for False, especially whenever they tried to force him onto Winston in the kickoff clash. It was not great. It was bad, tragic, awful, perhaps. Not great for my fellow Canadian False. And then the support line of Aztac, Masa, and Sky Reaper, who went unchanged throughout the season. The only role that really went unchanged, I would say. And Masa has now retired. This was such a poor season that he decided, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. Now, in terms of staff, they ended the season with Deepay as head coach, coming in after the kickoff clash. I think they got rid of Flubby and Pew right after the kickoff clash because you lose 6 games and you have an easy schedule. Like, what the fuck can you do, right? So Deepay comes through. However, he has not found any work this season for the upcoming one, and this might have been the last time we see Deepay there. He didn't even get to Vancouver. He didn't even have a jersey, bro. Bro didn't even get a jersey. Come on, man. Somebody please give him a jersey. So looking at this kickoff clash, 0-6, minus 14. They almost beat Boston, and Boston looked really bad at the beginning. So that was like a pretty tragic match for the opening day of Season 5. It was really bad. Then you lose to London, you lose to Florida, you beat New York in one map, and you beat a map off of Chalk, which is curious and probably shocked. I don't know how that happened. I'll be honest, I don't have any recollection of that existing, but it happened. I don't know if Shock were trolling because the last one of the stage. I don't know what the fuck is up there, but good for you, Vancouver. You get your map and you smile. But this is just awful. Forcing False in on the Winston was just a horrible decision. You could play Zarya here, and they didn't really. I don't know why. They actually are below the league average in Zarya playtime. The league average of 15.9, they have 12.9, and you have False as your only tank. Or your only, like, real tank, because Mira comes in for the Doom a little bit of Zarya, things like that. And somehow, you're below the league minimum on Zarya. That's insane. You had a stage where you could have just slapped him on Zarya, but no, you wanted to play Winston. Why? He's not a Winston player, guys. Guys, hello? Do you know who False is? He's not a Winston player. Let him go on Zarya. I beg. It just didn't make any sense. And that probably was why they got fired. They got fucked on. Like, what? Guys, we're going to play False on Winston only. It'll work out. I promise you. It'll work out. I got nothing for that one. Just beyond me. Midseason Madness comes around. Oh, look. 0-6, minus 15. You actually do worse this time. You've actually done worse. And your schedule was harder, so I guess it makes sense that you've done worse. But, like, what's going on here? They lose everyone. They don't take a map. They only take a map off Atlanta, and they bring Washington to 5, I guess. And you don't win a single time in the first half. This was the double flex. Aztac had some decent showings on Zenyatta. One of the highlights, I guess, for this stage is his Zenyatta was all right. Outside of that, not really a huge fan. They kind of played Mirror a little bit here, I think, on the Doom. I believe so, that he came in on the Doomfist more in this stage. Well, did it help them? Probably not. But here we go. Let's talk about the real shit. Summer Showdown qualifiers. 3-3, +2. A positive overall record. You lose to Toronto. What can you do? The superior Canadian team. They went on to place 3rd in this stage. Like, solid. You bring them to the brink. It was close. Not bad. You beat Paris, you beat New York, 2 matches that you needed to get whenever you're playing good gameplay. The Jotes meta was for them. Their disengages, their re-engages, their overall jostling for positioning was quite good. And then you just buy Aspire enough time and space to eventually kill everyone on Sojourn. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. They dabbled in Ashe a little bit. I didn't like it because Aspire needs to hard carry. So you may as well. King in this one, because King comes through around here somewhere. I think it's a little bit weaker because I think Genji has such a strong position and is such a strong character in this meta. And I don't think King really popped off that much. He had some okay. Oh, it was literally this one he came in. He C9 against Toronto. I remember that. The C9. That was him, right? That was him there? Oh. Or something. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think something happened in that match with King. That was unfortunate. But I didn't rate his Genji too much. He did alright, but really it was just Aspire doing the most. That's that. Mirror was on the Junker Queen as well. But you know what? You beat the 2 guys that you needed to beat. You beat Washington, which was nice, and you secured a spot. Didn't secure it, but you played your game. If you don't get that win, you don't make it to the tournament. At least they made it to a tournament, right? That's all that matters. This team, their end goal was making it to play-ins. They didn't quite make it, but you do make it to the tournament. Then you lose to Houston because Houston's good. And then they get reverse sweep by Boston tragically, whenever they had just come out, new head coach, not played the game very much with their roster because they were playing Korean roster. This game they didn't, and they lost. And this was really tragic, and that loss pretty much cemented that they would not finish this season in a play-in position. If they got that win, there was a chance. As it turns out, it wouldn't have mattered in the Countdown Cup, but maybe they play a bit better. Maybe they play a little less loose, because in the Countdown Cup, they were just like, fuck it. We ball. We're just here for a good time, not a long time, you know? That Boston win, they get that win. Maybe they're here for a long time. Maybe they're here for a long time and not a good time in the Countdown Cup. Who knows? Someone Showdown comes around, lose to Shock, lose to Florida, call it a day. What are you going to do? You lost to number 2 and number 4. What the fuck? That's what you get for coming in as a low seed, I guess. You know, it's like you get the tough matchups, you lose the tough matchups, you go home. Whatever. They were chilling. They were just happy to be there. Countdown Cup, they're loosey-goosey. I don't give a fuck about this. That last match, Paris Eternal, that 3-2, that was maybe the worst Overwatch I've ever seen. Both those guys were just for funning it. It was quite good. But yeah, that's about it. If you look at the eliminations and stuff, you see Aspire quite high oftentimes. You see him up there, 7.1. He's just up there. The hero damage, it's all him. The deaths, and he's the lowest deaths. He's the carry of the team. He has the lowest deaths. What more do you want from him? What more do you want from him? And then this season upcoming, they build around him, send everyone else packing. You get Aspire, Sugar-Free, Punk. You bring from Boston. You lose to Boston here. You're like, hold up. I want some of that. They bring in Faith. They bring in Punk. Who's their other guy? Kremzo. They bring in just those 3. They lost and they said, fuck it. We're bringing them in. I don't care. I like it. But yeah, looking at their overall league stuff, nothing too crazy. I guess you could notice they did actually tone down on the Winston. Almost all of this Winston was from Kickoff Clash, I would say. Then you play a bit more Doomfist than the average because you want to play Mirror on Doomfist. You don't trust False, maybe. They say, fuck it, Mirror, you're balling. Sure. They have a lot more Junker Queen than the average, and I don't know why. I actually don't know what's the case there. Did they play it elsewhere out of the Summer Showdown? Did they play it in the Countdown Cup? Did they dabble? They probably dabbled. Intriguing, but nothing too crazy. Pretty average, honestly, for their compositions, except for the Winston part and the Zarya part. Was Doom that much higher? Like, what's going on here? They played more Diva. They played more Diva a little bit. That's probably what it is. That's what eats the percentage there. But yeah, nothing crazy. It is what it is. Vancouver will be more fun to watch, I think, this upcoming season. Aspire is always fun to watch. I like watching Aspire. So I like watching Sugar-Free. High hopes from the next season. This season, just a watch. Just, you know what? You had to go. You gave Pew Flubby another chance. You let them build the roster. It didn't work out. They're gone. We're here now. Let them cook. Let them cook. That's all I say. Who's their coach right now? Let me see if I can remember. Ascoft? It's Ascoft. Let Ascoft cook. Anyway, have yourself a good one. Deuces. Goodbye.